Well, good afternoon. Today is September the 7th, and I'm just kind of putting the final touches on this bike here. Um, this is a year 2000 model Honda XR200R. And XR200Rs have been around for a long time. They stopped importing them into the United States in 2002. And the first XR200 was basically a twin shock, not a single shock like this one. And they made that model for a couple of years, and then in 1982 they came out with the first monoshock. So basically from 1982 to 2002, some version of this bike was available. This one started out basically as two rolling junk piles. One, a frame with wheels but no motor, and the other one, a frame with this motor in it, but unfortunately, it was the wrong frame. Because the motor basically belonged in the original frame that was the rolling chassis, but these adolescent delinquent terrorist types had that I bought it from had basically transplanted this engine, which is a 2000, into a 1984 Honda XR200R chassis. 84 and 85, they used a totally different engine than this, so the motor mounts didn't even line up. So after I rescued this mountain of junk from these teenagers for $800, I basically just went through everything, parted out everything, and threw everything in the garbage can that needed to be in the garbage can. That was probably going on 5 to 6 years ago, and it didn't really get around to putting it together until last summer, fairly late, and then I stalled out late last fall. The weather was getting cold and I stopped working on it. I resumed working on this a couple of weeks ago, and so now the motor is back in the chassis that it came in. However, the 1984 bike had a lot of good parts. The front fender, the gas tank, the seat, the side covers, and the rear wheel all came off the 84. The rear wheel that was on the 2000 was basically looked like they had been jumping it or something, because it had broken spokes and basically it looked like a taco more than a rear wheel. The engine is believed to be sound. I still haven't started it yet. I finally got some spark out of it a couple of days ago. I wound up replacing the entire ignition system, including the stator, the pulsar coil, the CDI or ignition control module, same thing, and the combination coil lead cap. So basically the entire electrical system is new. There's nothing original there left. Carburetor is new. Front forks were totally dismantled with new fork seals and new oil put in them. The like I said, the gas tank is off the 84. I was surprised to find that from 84 all the way through 2002, pretty much all the plastics and seat, gas tank are interchangeable. The rack on the bike is something, excuse me, that's brand new. I sourced it from CycleRacks.com. There's a gentleman in Idaho that builds these with his son, and he's an elderly guy. I've talked to him in person. They make some really neat stuff, and I certainly enjoyed giving him a little bit of business. I had bought a rack from him previously for my Yamaha TW200, same style rear rack. On the exhaust side, the stock exhaust is gone and has been replaced with the DG Performance can. It does have a screen in it, so it is US Forest approved. It retains the stock header pipe. You can see it's a little bit rusty. One of these days I'll clean it up and maybe put some heat-proof paint on it. What I've discovered is the heat-proof paint lasts about one outing and then it's gone too, so I never get too excited about the header pipe. Rear tire and it's still serviceable. It's got a few miles left in it. It's a Kenda 257 6-ply motocross knobby. I use my own wheel balancing technique. It has a 50 caliber Browning machine gun bullet on one side, and on the other side, I tried another bullet, but it was a little bit too much weight to counterbalance the the rim lock, which is up there on top. You need weight just opposite 180 degrees, because otherwise you've got one side of the wheel is heavy. So this is not that is not the projectile. It's the inside of the projectile. That's that silver piece that's glued on there actually was the inside of an armor-piercing 50 BMG round. I cut off the copper jacket, and it lightened it up just enough to give me the amount of weight I wanted. And they're just held onto the rim with some marine goop, which is kind of like shoe goo. It's made by the same company. So all in all, this bike has been a lot of work. There was motor mount bolts and motor mounts and all kinds of little miscellaneous pieces, including the decompression cable that were missing. I had to source them off eBay. But it finally all came together. And as we look at it right now, it's saying, "Don, we're ready to roll. Why don't you start me up?" So in a few minutes, I'm going to put some gas in it. I know I got spark now, and we're going to try to see if it'll run.